Hey, what up, guys? So, hitting you with another one this morning. We're going to do the what's next on undefeated and newly unified junior welterweight champion Josh Taylor. Taylor recently fought in the main event of a DAZN card on Saturday, October 26th, when he came in as the undefeated IBF champion and he captured the WBA junior welterweight title as well when he defeated Regis Prograis, undefeated, in the finals of the World Boxing Super Series Season 2 8-man tournament. This was a big-time fight at 140, and Taylor came in and just outworked Prograis. It wasn't a one-sided, lopsided decision. He got a majority decision, but there really was no argument out of anybody about it being a robbery. It was a close, tough battle, but for the most part, he won 7, possibly 8 rounds, but it was competitive, and Prograis put up a good fight. But these two guys were both undefeated champions coming in, and this was a huge win for Taylor, especially winning that Muhammad Ali World Boxing Super Series trophy. So, big-time win, puts him right at the top of the division. He is now number 1 for me. So, the big question now is, what's next for Josh Taylor, the unified junior welterweight champion and World Boxing Super Series winner? So, first off, the IBF, which is one of the 2 belts that he holds, already said that they are going to order him to make a mandatory defense of his title against some guy. His last name is Kong Song. I mean, like King Kong and then Song. It's going to be, it would be a mandatory defense, and this guy's an undefeated fighter from Thailand, but he's completely unknown. So Taylor also has the right to file for an exception before that. That's supposed to be December 8th when they order that, so he's got a little bit over a month to file an exception and possibly not have to make that mandatory defense. So, we're going to see what happens if he decides to take that or not. Now, let's run through the top 10, the other guys in the top 10, and see what he could do. We start with number 2, undefeated WBC, WBO unified champion Jose Ramirez. Now, obviously, this is the big fight everybody wants to see for the undisputed title, but Ramirez has to make a WBC mandatory against former champ Victor Pastal next. So this fight is at least not going to happen next, but hopefully next year. Number 3, Regis Prograis, former world champion, the guy he just beat in the finals. I would love to see a rematch. I think Prograis is really legit, but I don't think Taylor's going to want to take a risk ahead of that undisputed title clash next year. So I don't see this fight happening. Again, most people feel like he cleanly defeated Prograis, so they're not clamoring for it, and I don't think this fight happens next. Number 4 is Jose Cepeda, former world title challenger. I wouldn't be surprised at this fight, just to kind of build up a Ramirez fight, if Taylor took on Cepeda and looked better than Ramirez looked, because Ramirez just fought Cepeda back in February. I think it would be believable for that Taylor would go in and dominate Cepeda next in an optional defense. I could see that happening, but I think he would lean towards other things, but I could see this fight happening. Number 5, former world champion Victor Pastal, which would be a rematch from their 2018 bout, in which Taylor won a wide decision, but it really was a close competitive bout. They say the scores were bullshit because they were fighting in Taylor's home country of Scotland, and it should have been scored a lot closer, but Taylor, Pastal's in line in a mandatory effort to take on Jose Ramirez next. They've already agreed to that fight, so this fight is not happening next. So no, not going to happen. Number 6 now is Robert Easter Jr. Robert Easter, former lightweight champion, just got a win. I wouldn't be completely surprised if Taylor took on Robert Easter, but because of Easter's style, lengthy style, and he's kind of a unattractive opponent, is the nice thing to say about him. He lost to Mikey Garcia last year. I just don't think this is a fight that Taylor needs next. So I don't see this one happening. Taylor versus number 7 now. What's his name? Maurice Hooker, the former world champion. Not going to happen. Hooker's moving up to 147 next, and the fight wouldn't make sense. Ramirez just knocked Hooker out, so it would be a risk for Taylor to take this fight. And if he beats him, most people are going to say, so what? And unless he beats him better or exactly the way Ramirez beat him, which is tough because Ramirez stopped him in 6 rounds. So, it's one of those things you really wouldn't make any sense to take this opponent. Next is number 7, Kira Relic, the former WBA champion. Another fight that doesn't make a lot of sense. Relic fought in the World Boxing Super Series. He got his ass whipped against Prograis. So what's the point in Taylor facing him unless it's just to stay busy? And, it's just an unnecessary fight to take. Number 8, well, no, he was number 8 is Relic. Number 9 now is former world title challenger Pablo Cesar Cano. I think this wouldn't be a bad opponent for Taylor to take because Cano's coming off a big win over Jorge Linares in January, and he's one of those guys that, he got the big win, so why not give him an opportunity and a chance? And I think Taylor would dominate him anyways, so I think this fight could be possible. And then finally, number 10 is former champion, there's 2 guys at number 10. You got Ivan Barianchik. Taylor just beat him in the semifinals of the tournament. Wouldn't make any sense to face him next. And then lastly, Adrian Granados. Granados just lost to Robert Easter, so it wouldn't make sense for Taylor to take this fight either. What do I personally think he's going to do? I don't think he's going to file the exception with the IBF. I think he's going to get that mandatory out of the way, get it done with. Stay busy ahead of a possible showdown next year with Jose Ramirez, because I think that fight is very possible for next year to fight for the undisputed title. So you get your mandatories out of the way, it makes that fight even easier. So I think he's going to do that next. He'll probably be back in February or March. I think he'll face this Kong Song guy and dominate him and push forward towards the undisputed title clash. But that's just my opinion. All right, guys, that's the What's Next on Undefeated Unified Junior Welterweight Champion and the World Boxing Super Series Season 2 winner, Josh Taylor. All right, guys, True Boxing, you've been hit with the truth.